Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you don't know, my name is Sarah. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to try and attempt to knit a top in 2 days. Now this is by no means an impossible feat. I know people who have knit full-blown sweaters in a weekend, which I don't understand because I guess I just don't have that time to sit and devote to knitting because children, life, a business, etc. I wish I had that amount of time to be able to just sit and knit, but I don't, and that's okay. I have knit a sweater in 2 weeks before, but that was a long time ago. It was a worsted weight yarn, and I had a lot more free time at that point in my life. Now, the top I'm wanting to make is definitely not particularly impressive if I do knit it in a couple of days because it is a bulky weight camisole. So, it's not an impossible task. So I'm just going to preface that with, it's not impossible. I'm sure that there are some people who probably could knit it in a day. The top I am wanting to make is the Sugarboo Bralette by Caidree. Now, if you've been around, you're sitting there thinking, but Sarah, you already have one. Yes, I do. I'm currently wearing it. Here it is. Now, of course, the Sugarboo Bralette actually is a cropped bralette that has ribbing from here, but I didn't do that. I wanted a tank top, so I modified the pattern. I used all the math to get me going here, and I just kept knitting stockinette to make a tank top, which I love this thing. I wear it all the time. This is knit out of Knitter's Pride, or Knit Picks, sorry, Knitter's Pride. Those are knitting needles. I use Knit Picks Billow. This is Billow, which is 100% cotton, and I'll come a little closer. You can see that it is thick and thin, which is not my favorite. I do wear this camisole a lot, but I do wish it wasn't so rustic looking. I wish it was a little more polished and refined. So that's kind of my goal with knitting a new one. This one I actually was able to knit in, I think, 3 or 4 days. Now I could have done it in a day or two probably because it was so fast. It was so fast to knit. But I just didn't have that amount of time to devote. But this weekend, we have no plans. None. I can't remember we do have one plan, but that plan involves a lot of sitting time. I can't remember the last time I had an open Saturday with literally nothing in it. There's nothing on my calendar, and I'm just looking at it like, wow, what do I do? I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna freaking knit, guys. I'm gonna knit. We do have plans for Sunday. We are going over to my in-laws, and we're going to watch the football game. But I don't like football, even a little bit. I don't understand it. I find it a ridiculous sport. I'm sorry to all of you football fans. You do you. But yeah, it's not my thing. But it is, I actually really enjoy going over to watch the game because it is uninterrupted knitting time. Especially now that my kids are older, they usually take off to another room and they watch their own TV shows. And I can just sit and knit and knit and knit, and it is fabulous. So, this camisole, totally gonna be able to do it. So I'm gonna take you along with me. I guess I should probably let you know what yarn I'm using. Now you're gonna be like, okay, Sarah, this is like the same color. Yes, I understand that. Bear with me for a second. I plan on using Paintbox cotton. This is an Aran weight or bulky weight. I don't know what they have it categorized. They have it categorized as Aran, which will work just fine for this. It is color Vanilla Cream, or 608. Now, I understand that this color is like the same as this, but this actually was an original plan to make the Sugarboo Bralette. I bought this yarn specifically to make this pattern. But then I had this leftover yarn that I frogged from something else, and I don't know, it just spoke to me right then and there, and I wanted to knit it, so I did. And that's okay, but now I still have this, and I still want a Sugarboo Bralette with it. Reasons being is, yes, I understand it's the same color, but I want something more polished looking. This nice even cotton will get me that more polished look. rather than this thick, thin thing that's going on with the uneven gauge. It drives me crazy. But again, I wear it a lot. So this, with an even gauge and, you know, not thick, thin yarn, I'm gonna wear it even more. So that's the plan. Sugarboo Bralette in 2 days, out of Paintbox, Aran weight cotton. Let's see if I can do it. Popping back in the same day, different hairstyle. I have not been sitting here all day knitting. I did a whole bunch of yard work and now I'm about to get up and go do some housework in the family room. But I thought I'd show you where I'm at so far. Okay. There's so many ends. This part stresses me out. I hate how many ends there are everywhere, but you know, just look past them. I have joined in the round. So we have 4 beautiful little triangles. Look how cute that is. This is from Simply Serving, his little turkey tail mushrooms. I love it so much. Anyhow, this goes so quickly. I have not knit hardly at all today because I've been so busy doing other stuff and then helping the kids with homework and such. But one front triangle, I timed it, takes 15 minutes. And that's with, like, you know, every now and then pauses and stops and stuff. So that's pretty quick. So it was, you know, 15 per front one, and then the back ones are like much smaller. They're like maybe around half that amount. And so yeah, really quick. But I joined the round. So stressful. I'm always worried I'm going to twist something, and I keep going around, and like as I'm knitting, be going around and something will go like this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I twisted it, I knew it. And it's like, oh no, it just flipped and it moved. It's fine. There is nothing twisted, thank goodness. I was stressed out at multiple points that I had twisted it, but thankfully no. The one thing I'm thinking about in my head here, and I thought I'd mention, is I'm considering, so this one has a crocheted strap and a crocheted border all the way around. I like the crocheted border and strap because it offers much more support than knitted ones do. But I do prefer the way that the knitting looks. But here's where I'm at. I think I want to do crocheted straps again because it doesn't stretch the same way knit ones do, and I want a lot of structure in the shoulder. And I want something to go around the edge of the top because you get these stretch stitches like this, which have a tendency to then pull the stitches behind. So I have a good example here. So, there. See that line there? It's pulling those stitches, and it's not from when I was knitting, it's actually this little guy here. So what I've thought about doing, which now I'm like, hello, why did I do my provisional cast on? Like, way to go you actually did like what it said in the pattern. However, if I'm going to do a crochet, I'm going to have to kind of crochet through those live stitches. Shouldn't have been live. I should have just cast on with a long tail. It's fine, I'll make it work. But what I'm thinking is, once I'm done crocheting the strap like the exact same way I've done these, but then I'm thinking of doing an I-cord all the way around the edge up the strap and having like the I-cord trim out that crocheted strap, and then also trim out the edges of the tank. It wouldn't be me if I didn't modify a pattern to death. You know, I can't leave well enough alone. I don't think I've ever knit a pattern to pattern. There's always some adjustment I make. I just can't help myself. But I'm thinking an I-cord edge would look really good, and because I'm wanting this to look like really clean and sharp compared to this one, I think it would also add a detail element that would make this one even more different than this one, seeing as they're the same color. But yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. I will probably knit on it quite a bit tonight because we are watching a movie with the kiddos. So, and then my husband had talked about the possibility of staying up late tonight. And of course, we're not doing anything tomorrow. We will be cleaning our shed out, but that's like an hour tops. So there'll be tons of knitting time, and this is like an hour worth of work, and I say an hour, it probably isn't quite an hour's worth of work, but I'll count the amount of time it took me to figure out what size, because I couldn't remember what size. I knit this one, and I eventually found it in some notes, but I wouldn't be recording a video in Sarah's house unless there's lots of noise at all points in time. My son just dropped my daughter's custom made cup from my sister. It like had Auntie Amy like written on the bottom, and like it was the color she picked out. Yeah, he broke it. Anyhow, I don't remember what I said, but I'm going to be doing a lot of knitting tonight and tomorrow. I'm pretty sure that tonight I should be able to get a good chunk of the body done, at least half. I'm hoping. We will see. I also have a knit night thing in an hour. A little virtual knit night thing. So I'm probably not going to work on this though. I think I'm going to work on my cardigan. But other than that, yeah. I'm going to go make dinner now, and then I'll get back to this later. But I will check back in as I get further into this tank top. Alright, it's the evening, and I may make this happen today on day 2. I'm on the ribbing. My gauge is a hair off because one, I went down a needle size, which usually with Caidree patterns I go up a needle size, but I went down a needle size because I was using a like Aran weight. With this one I used a bulky weight, so I went down a needle size, but it's just a tiny bit tighter, which is okay because the cotton yarn it does a lot of growing and shrinking. Like when I wash and dry this, it shrinks like a lot. But then when I wear it, it stretches out. So like I've been holding this up to this, knowing that this is stretched out from wearing it all day. This one is not stretched out yet. So but yeah, I'm working on the ribbing. I've changed the ribbing from what I did on this one. This one I did a 2x2, but after knitting, actually I have it right here, my V-neck bamboo shirt. On this one I did a twisted rib, and I feel like with a yarn that has no like natural spring and bounce to it, it needs something that's a bit more structured. So I like the twisted rib with the bamboo yarn. So I figured rather than doing the 2x2 like I did on this one, to do a twisted. And I just started the second round, but my husband left the room, so I figured I'd quickly record before he comes back. So I would have waited until I was done, but just do this now. But yeah, here I've just started the two, I'm tired. I've just started the twisted rib, and I think that this is gonna look a lot nicer than the 2x2 that the other one has. I also did the same thing I did with this one, and I added short row shaping to the back. So the back is longer than the front, so which I like. I prefer the back of my garments to be a hair longer than the front, because I feel like that's just naturally like how our garments go. If they're not a little longer in the back, they kind of tend to ride up in the back, which drives me crazy. It's like those like circle skirts, like the short little mini skirts. They drive me crazy. Like I can never wear one because they're always like longer in the front than the back, which is this. I also have a rather large rear end, so that just would not work on me, like at all. Like I thought it was kind of funny because my sister and I actually, without knowing, we bought the same pair of like athletic shorts, and she came over to our house and she was wearing them, and I was like, are you kidding me? They actually cover your butt. I can't wear mine besides like to bed because my whole like rear end hangs out of them. So like the idea of wearing a skirt that's like everything would show. But I like having, so along those same lines, I like having something that comes a little longer in the back because my butt is so big. It like kind of unaccentuates the largeness of it. Maybe not. I don't know. It might be all in my head. But yeah. Short row shaping done. I'm just going to do a short amount of ribbing. A little bit more than I did with this one because this one does do a little flippy bit. But it doesn't bother me too much because I usually wear it tucked in. But I think, what does this one got? Ooh. This one has 1, 2, 3. Oh, this only has 4 rounds of ribbing. So I'll probably do 6 rounds of ribbing. I don't know, my hands really don't like this twisted rib. Oh, hopefully I'll get through. It's only 6 rounds. I'll be fine. Quit being a baby. But then maybe I'll crochet the straps tonight, and then pick up stitches to do an I-cord. I don't know, haven't decided yet. We will see. Alright, so I'm technically on day 3. I know I said 2 days, but you know, I kind of anticipated it would be into the third day because I didn't do as much on the first day as I thought I was going to be doing, which is fine. That's fine. I am currently working on finishing. So I finished the body last night. So the bulk of all the knitting was done. I did crochet and one of the straps and do an I-cord edging around the underarm and then the sleeve on one of them, but I made the crochet strap too small, so when I put it on it felt a little pinchy and tight, so I had to rip all that out and start over. So I probably this morning would have had done like 2 of the straps and then just needed to do the I-cord edge around the neck and then weave in ends, but because I had to rip out, we're here, which is fine. I don't mind ripping out and making sure it works out. So here we go. Let me hold it up. It's so messy. It's so messy. But here we are. We've got 2 straps on here right now that I just finished crocheting. I am now going to pick up stitches around the underarms and do an I-cord and then do an I-cord around the neck, and we'll be doing real good. And then I have to weave in all the ends. There's so many ends. And of course with the cotton yarn I always feel like I need to weave them in even further than I would a wool or an acrylic even. So yeah, it's gonna be quite the task. Ta-da! The Sugarboo Bralette turned tank top is done, and I finished it in 2.5 days. I wasn't able to get as much knitting time in on Friday, so I only knit in the afternoon and evening. I spent a good majority of Saturday knitting on it, and then a teeny portion of Sunday just doing the little finishings like the straps and then putting an I-cord edging around them. Now, this pattern has ribbing normally from here down, and it is a cropped. I basically from here, when it said to start the ribbing, I just kept knitting stockinette until I hit the length that I wanted, and then just did a little itty bitty round of 1x1 twisted rib. And those are kind of the modifications I made. Otherwise, I followed the pattern. It doesn't call for an I-cord edging, and it does use an I-cord for the straps, but I prefer a crocheted strap, so that's what I did there, and then just did the I-cord, which I really liked. Now that in comparison to my first Sugarboo Bralette, this one, I love this one. I love this one so much more, and I know this one's gonna get a lot more wear. Now, the comparisons of the yarn, this one is softer. This uses that Knit Picks Billow, and it's just, it is a lot softer, and I think it's because of the type of twist that this yarn has. It just allows, I don't know, for the fiber to really be there and be soft. I don't know how that works, but it's buttery. This one is not quite buttery, it's smooth. I do know a lot of people have like an aversion to cotton because they say it feels dry. It is a dry feeling, but I don't mind that. It just feels light and cool, and I like that. So I do have plans to make more. I do think I want to make a Sugarboo that actually has the ribbing and have that to wear with like my leggings, and then I also have a pair of wide-legged pants I would like to wear with it. But yeah, I like this one too, but I feel like this one's gonna get a lot more wear. I didn't put the I-cord on this one, and I like this one more with the I-cord edging. I did the 2x2 on this one, and I definitely like the 1x1 that I put on this one instead. Here's that 1x1 twisted. This one in length, you can see, hits me like right about the hips. These are mid-rise jeans. High-waisted hit me kind of a little weird. I have really broad rib cage that kind of sticks out really far, so high-waisted kind of hits me weird on the rib cage. Some of them do, not all of them. So yeah, it looks really good. I added some short rows in the back to make the back just a hair longer, and I really like that because then it kind of like hits right at my belt line, but then comes down here, and then when I raise my arms, nothing comes up, which is nice. Really like this, and let me show you it with a few outfits. The nice thing about a top like this is it's so versatile. You can use it for any type of like outfit. Like here I've got it more casual with my flannel. I wear this like around the house with sweatpants. With the flannel and my leggings, I could run errands or clean the house, do some gardening. Then, you know, dress it up with something a little more classy with my wide leg pants and like a white button up. Or, you know, a little more casual, going out, hanging out with a cardigan and jeans. Or you just wear just the tank top and a pair of jeans. And then you can dress it up, dress it down with a denim jacket or like a leather jacket and some high heels. Like there's so many amazing options for something like this. And yeah, I ended up with a really great tank top and I'm already plotting out a few more maybe. Let me know what you thought of this type of video if you want to see more kind of like this. I do want to do some more like try on type videos so you can see how to style your knitwear. I think one of the big things with knitwear is like there's like this feeling of this need to wear them out and dressed up. I like to wear my knitwear just like around the house and not dressed up at all. Another topic I've thought about covering is modifying patterns. So if you have any specific questions regarding modifying patterns, let me know down in the comments and I might do a video in the future covering that. I also am going to be doing a Q&A video coming up because I, at this point in time, am just a teeny weeny bit away from 4,000 subscribers. So I'm going to do a Q&A video. So if you have any questions for me about literally anything, life, knitting, art, whatever, drop it down in the comments below and I will answer those in the future. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It was a lot of fun to kind of record the process of knitting this Sugarboo Bralette over 2-ish days. And, you know, kind of, it almost like pushed me to make sure I got it done in those few days. And I wouldn't recommend doing that for every project. This was a quick project. I would never push myself to like, you know, knit a cardigan in 2 or 3 days. That would just be bonkers. Yeah, it was just a fun little... It was just a fun little challenge to do this one time. I don't know, maybe I'll do it again for another Sugarboo. And then next time, you know, leave the ribbing. Who knows? We'll see. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you in my next video. Bye.